Hi guys, it's Arsh Ellahi, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about the two different types of property investors there are out there, and especially if you're a deal sourcer, how to appeal to almost like both kind of markets. So before we do that, I want to say a quick hello to all new and returning subscribers and watchers of the channel. Hopefully you've really taken some golden nuggets and some real information away from the channel. I'm not one of these happy clappy high five kind of guys. I like to just say it as it is, and more importantly, give you some great value. So hopefully you're really appreciating that. So let's get straight into it. So the reason why I'm talking about this is because I've seen a massive change, especially over the last year, as to the different kinds of buyers that there are out there in the market. Now, when we're talking about buyers, I'm going to categorize them as in type A and type B. Now, type A is the style of property investor that I would consider is almost like the full-time property investor. Now, the full-time property investor is the person that looks to add value to the property. When we're talking about add value, this could be something like they go off and try and generate planning permission, they go and convert that property into a HMO, they potentially go off and try and almost like create the products. Now, when we're talking about creating the product, it could be turning that single let into a multi-let. And as a result of that, they want to benefit from not only the cash flow, but also the capital appreciation of the asset as well. So this is type A. Now, generally, type A will be someone that's already full-time in property, potentially looking at building their portfolio, or they may be almost like what I would consider a trader. So they buy, they do up, they refurb, they sell on, or they refinance to get all their money back out. And now in this video, what I want to also talk about is the pros and cons for each of the strategies for type A and also type B. Now, type B is the style of property investor that doesn't want the headache and the hassle that type A has to go through to create the product. They want what I would consider the ready-made, or what is known in the industry as a turnkey operation. They want to buy it already created, already fully tenanted, and generating cash flow from day one. Now, just so that you know, there's no right or wrong here. You may be type A or you may be type B. But as a sourcer, you've got to try and appeal to both markets. Now, what I'm saying about this is because if you only go and try and source all the properties that are properties ready to convert, you're going to miss out on a massive market where you're not going to appeal to the type B buyers. Now, if you're only now trying to find all the ready-made stock, you're going to miss out on the type A buyers. So when you're sourcing, you've got to try and find out what is your niche market, what are your buyers after. So when I'm looking for stock, I don't just look for type A or type B, I look for both. I want to look for both because I know that within my database, I've got a group of type A's, I've got a group of type B's. The guys that want the ready-made stock, we will issue out to the type B's. The guys that are looking for properties to convert and add value, will offer them to the type A. Now, the type B kind of buyer is the guys that may already be involved in other businesses where they may be cash rich but time poor. And the reason why we say that type B wants a ready-made stock is because they don't want to deal with builders. They don't want to have to go through the hassle of all the construction and all the refurbishment works. They don't want to have to try and get it ready. They want to be able to say, okay, here's the property, here's what it's doing, here's how many rooms it's got, here's how much it's producing. And as a result of that, I understand it from a financial point of view. Yes, yes, yes. Now, the reason why type B also likes the ready-made stock is because potentially, and I say potentially, that property can also show that it's got a proven track record of success. So if it's already fully occupied and it has been occupied for a year or 2 years, you can pretty much, type B will take comfort in knowing that they're buying almost like a business in a box. Now, type A, when they're buying a property, you know, as much as we like to think that there's a massive demand in all locations, etc., there's no guarantee that that property is going to let. So type A is taking risks. So type A will try and acquire a property, generally below market value. They will then try and refurb the property, bring that property up to some kind of standard whether it may be, and I appreciate that I'm using a HMO model quite a lot for the examples for this video. So they'll convert the property into a 5-bed HMO. Now, if they bought the house, let's just say for £100,000, and they've spent £20,000 to £30,000 on a refurb, they would be now looking to hopefully get that property valued at circa £150,000 to £160,000, which means that they've then got the ability to refinance, potentially get all the money back out of the deal and go again and go again and go again. And this is how people build portfolios. There's no secret behind that. Alternatively, what they tend to do, another service, and you've seen lots of deal sources out there that have got like a portfolio building arm to their business, etc. This is what they do. They buy, they refurb, and then they also sell the product on to a type B buyer. So they build it, they create it, they show an income, and as a result, they sell it onto an investor that is looking for that turnkey and ready, and that person that's looking for that ready-made investment. Now, as a type B buyer, as a result of you not actually adding value to it, there's a couple of things that you will have to take into consideration. You may be paying a slight premium as a result of not creating the product from scratch yourself like type A has done. However, you've got the comfort knowing that A, it's created, B, you're not having to deal with builders, you're not having to go through planning, you're not having to deal with all the other things that type A have had to deal with, but more importantly, you're buying almost like a ready-made business. As a result of buying a ready-made business, you may also, as a result of also paying a premium, you may also not be able to pull out as much equity out of the deal as someone like type A would have done, because they've already created the value in that deal. So you've really got to try and buy well in order for you to try and get as much money out of the deal as possible. So I'm just giving you a bit of a heads up, because this is when you're looking for stock, you will have different kinds of buyers. And we're just, in this example, we've just used it for HMOs. We can refer back to this for all kinds of things. So it could be single lets, it could be pieces of land. Have you ever come across pieces of land? You've got pieces of land that have got planning permission, and you've got pieces of land that have got no planning permission. The guys that have gone off and got planning permission are the ones that are generally achieving the higher price, because they've gone off, they've spent some time, they've put some resources behind it, and they've gone off and got that gain. And as a result, that land that was previously what's considered virgin land in development terms has now got land which has got an opportunity attached to it. You've got to think that as a piece of land, it's got only a certain value if it's got no planning permission. If it's got planning permission granted, and you can show that here's the planning permission, here's how many houses you can build on it, or here's how many apartments you can build on it, or here's the scheme that you've got with it, that will attract a different value. So what they will look at is the gross development value, then they'll look at it as a percentage of the land value. So again, land has a type A and a type B buyer. Now, if you're a large house builder, and I'm going to just mention a couple like the Persimmons, you've got the Bellway Homes, etc. And by the way, just to let you know that there are other house builders out there, they will generally be looking for the piece of land without planning permission, because they want to add value. Whereas if you're a smaller builder and you don't want to have to go through getting an architect and try and draw the scheme up and have to generally try and find the deal, they want to buy the ready-made land with planning, they will be a type B kind of buyer, because with planning, there's no guarantee that planning is going to be granted. And whereas with land, it's a little bit more riskier, because where you think you were going to get potentially 10 apartments on there, when you go through planning and the councillors and everyone says, well, in actual fact, we don't think we can give you 10, but then we can potentially give you 8. That will have a negative effect on your figures as well. So these are all the things that you've got to take into consideration. Type A will always be the riskier type of investor, because they're putting their neck on the line, especially when it comes to developments. Type B is the ones that want to literally buy something that's ready-made. So it was just a short, sharp video, because I thought that's quite an important point. And if you're sourcing, make sure that you understand what your clientele is doing, and more importantly, source according to what your guys are after. So guys, as always, if you've liked the video, please like, share and subscribe. I really would like you to like, share and subscribe. As always, if you like more free content like this, have you been and listened to my podcast? It's called The Property Rebel. I release a new podcast every Tuesday at 6 a.m. Just in time for the gym, hopefully when they open, and we'll talk about lockdown number 3 over the forthcoming weeks and how that's treated you. You can find the podcast. We're on Spotify, we're on Stitcher, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on Apple Podcasts, just to name a few. Just type into Google The Property Rebel and you'll come up with all the channels that we're on. Now, if you haven't already connected with me on social media, please do so. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Clubhouse. And I kind of cover lots of different things on my social media channels, so it would be great to connect with you. Now, finally, regardless whether you're a Type A buyer or a Type B buyer, have you downloaded the Property Investor app? The Property Investor app is the UK's first property investment platform which showcases all kinds of deals all over the UK. So whether you're looking for B&B deals, rent-to-rent deals, lease option deals, service accommodation deals, commercial deals, just to name a few, we've got them all on there. We've got over 200 properties on there of great value, and we'd really love you to be on there, whether you're a buyer or even if you're a deal sourcer. We've now just released an update where you can upload your deal yourself onto the app, and it takes just a couple of minutes to do that. So if you like the thought of that, you can go to our website, which is propertyinvestorapp.co.uk. If you've got a smartphone, why don't you just go to the App Store and type in Property Investor? It'll take you approximately 2 minutes to register, and you'll see all these deals in the palm of your hand, and it really is as easy as that. So guys, on that note, as always, I wish you all to be safe, well and happy, and I look forward to speaking to you all very soon. Thank you and bye-bye.